Haiku the Robot is a new metroidvania game that came out recently, a new entry to my personal favorite genre of games. Haiku became decently popular with over 500 very positive reviews on Steam and praises from many people saying it is like Hallownest, but with robots. At first I really liked Haiku and I thought it was a fun metroidvania with a lot of inspirations from Hallownest. However, after playing it again, while collecting footage for this video, I noticed a large number of problems with Haiku, with the biggest problem with this game being how much it is inspired by Hallownest. Now I want to make myself clear, I do not have a problem with games taking inspiration from other games whatsoever. Many of my favorite games are inspired by other medias, and that includes Hallownest. Also, I do not have a problem with games taking inspiration from Hallownest. That is fantastic by itself, and indie game inspiring other indie games, but there needs to be more than just saying I am inspired by a set game. It needs its own identity. I will get to this later, but for now, let's focus on the game itself. The world of Haiku is set in a post-apocalyptic world full of infected robots by a mysterious virus that turned once friendly robots into the dangerous creatures. Now, we have seen this type of world many times. A mysterious plague destroys a whole kingdom/city and now you gotta figure out what happened. Not a unique premise, but you can make it work by making an interesting looking world. Haiku doesn't do this very well. Enemy design in terms of looks are really cool looking. From screwdrivers to little tanks, Haiku has some really unique looking enemies. And also the map design is done really well, how it all interconnects and you can choose whichever path you want to go and explore. However, the world design still has problems. When it comes to the background, a lot of areas don't look interesting or captivating. I mean, yeah, it has some details here and there, but it feels like a same looking room, just with a slightly different looking background. Not every area is in the same color. Each area is distinct in its color palette at least, but they still have a problem with it, with most of the background looking really uninteresting and samey. The atmosphere is something that I really adore in many metroidvania games. Games like Blasphemous, Lilies, GRIME have a very captivating world that you will remember for a long time. Unfortunately for Haiku, the world feels unimpressive and it is not memorable. So if the world isn't that impressive, what about the lore? Another thing that many people, including myself, really appreciate in a good metroidvania game. When it comes to the Haiku's lore, I didn't find it interesting, nor did it spark my curiosity. This is not because this trope has been done many times. For example, Lilies' story does have this typical premise, but its execution of its lore is done great, and the large reason for that is its atmosphere. It captivates you and sparks your curiosity of finding out mysteries and exploring the kingdom of Land's End. So the world and the lore aren't that great, but what about the combat of Haiku? Is the combat any good? Well... Let me explain to you how the combat in this game functions. You have a sword that you can slash enemies with. With it you can hit left, right, up and down. With the down attack you can pogo on enemies and bosses. And that's it. You do have chips that you can put on to make your sword stronger or make it longer, but you will be just dashing and slashing enemies. I don't have a problem with the simplistic combat, obviously, but combat feels so underexplored, and that is due to enemies in the game. While they look visually cool, 95% of the enemies play the same. For example, you have enemies that run at you, enemies that explode, enemies that just stay, enemies that shoot projectiles at you. All of the enemies have one attack that they will keep using to death. A lot of enemies are just using the same attack. They may look different, but they will use the same attack that a previous enemy used that you have encountered already. This can make the game repetitive really quickly for the most of your playthrough. When it comes to bosses, however, they can be fun and enjoyable, like the final boss and the true final boss, but most of the bosses are really easy and not memorable. Another problem with the combat is healing system. In concept, healing of your money is pretty cool. Plus, the game gives you a lot of money to spend and to have for your healing. There is one glaring problem though. It takes forever to heal. This is most apparent in a boss battle, where you want to heal but it takes forever to heal and boss pretty much kills you. You are better off not healing at all in a boss fight than trying to attempt to heal. There is a chip that makes you heal faster, but why make healing this slow? I get it is supposed to be like you shouldn't have healed in that moment, but I ask, when the hell am I supposed to heal? I died to final boss 3 times because I needed to heal, but because of the slow heal I die. Healing system needs to be faster, because it is way too slow to heal your one mask or capsule. So overall, combat in this game is way too simple for its own good, and the healing system is way too slow to even use in a boss battle. How can this be improved? Make enemies more complex in terms of mechanics and have them use variety of different attacks instead of just one attack that is repeated throughout the entirety of the game, and make healing system much faster than it is now. I've beaten Haiku in less than 6 hours. It is not a long game, yet at times it felt sluggish. I know that sounds really subjective, but hear me out. I didn't mention the dashing system in combat segment, but there is a big reason for that. So when it comes to dashing in Haiku, if you dash way too many times, your meter will fill up, and you will not be able to dash. Combat-wise, when you're in a boss battle, this system is fantastic, because you have to manage your dashing, or you will run out of it. It is a great system for that. However, and I know I said that word a lot, when you are trying to go back to an area and there is no train station there, you will need to walk there, and because of the limited dashing and how it takes time to refill again so you can dash again, it makes the game really slow. This is not just a problem with dashing. Like I mentioned earlier, in some zones there are no stations close enough to get you to an area you want to go. Other things to mention, music was there, not memorable except maybe the true final bosses theme. They reused the same soundtrack for every boss except for the creators. Sound design is pretty good. You have your standard metroidvania upgrades like double jump, wall jump, grappling hook and other things, which are all good. I don't have a problem how you get them, but it does feel like the game is rushing to get every single ability as fast as possible, like how you get wall jump after you finished tutorial 3 to 5 minutes later. In many other games, it will take some time before you get your next ability, and the feeling of finally getting that ability you needed should feel satisfying. Well, in this game I got 3 different abilities in less than an hour and a half. That fast. Now, for the last, I want to talk about the bank system in this game. The bank system in Haiku works like this. When you see the pole thing next to your checkpoint, you can deposit some of your currency so that you don't lose it later. Very standard bank system, right? Well, there's a problem. Instead of depositing as much money as you would like, you can only deposit all of your currency. No, the game does not give you an option to deposit a set amount of money as you would like. You can only deposit all of your money. So if you have like 4,000, you can either deposit all of them or none. If you decide to give all of your money, you can get it back. You just gotta hit the pole thing set amount of times so you can get your money back. Why? Why put players through this instead of giving an option to take back some money and to deposit a set amount of money instead of this system you have in your game? Alright, let's talk about this. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I do not have a problem with games taking inspiration from other medias. Haiku the Robot takes inspiration from Hollow Knight. A lot of inspiration. I've seen people saying that Haiku is like Hollow Knight, but with robots. This game is just like Hollow Knight. That is correct. It is like Hollow Knight. too much like Hollow Knight. Replaying this game made me realize this, how much it takes from Hollow Knight and doesn't do anything at least slightly different to differentiate itself from Hollow Knight. Combat feels like a watered down version of Hollow Knight's fully explored combat. Mechanically, it feels worse. In many ways, the game just feels worse than Hollow Knight. Now you may say, hey, it is unfair to compare this game to Hollow Knight, because of course Hollow Knight is going to do everything better than Haiku. And you might be right, but the problem here is that there are already some games that came out recently and that claimed to be inspired by Hollow Knight yet still maintain their own identity and are memorable experiences. I will remember Blasphemous for its dark religious themes, amazing pixel art, and a phenomenal world design. I will remember Grime for its unique looking world, best use of parry system with some of the best bosses in any other game, and I will remember Lilies for its phenomenal atmosphere, soundtrack, art style, and many other things. Haiku the Robot is not a memorable experience. It lacks its own identity. The only thing I will remember about Haiku is that it is just like Hollow Knight, and nothing else. Now, I want to be clear, I don't hate Haiku, and I can see that Morris loved working on this game and that it is hard making a game all by yourself. I have nothing but respect to the guy. But that is not an excuse for the lack of identity and originality. It does not protect the game itself from criticism. Toby Fox pretty much worked on Undertale all by himself, and yet it is a fantastic game. The lack of theme does not equal the lack of creativity. Flaws and problems in games and any other media need to be pointed out, so that in the future those flaws can at least be improved. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I had an absolute blast making it, so I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and comment down below. Just keep the discussion tame, please. As for the future, I hope I make more videos. I don't know when, but I hope. And last thing, I want to thank Hora for helping me with the script to improve it a bit. His Twitter will be in the description. Go check him out. Absolutely amazing person. And yeah, that's it. Thank you all again for watching, and I hope I'll see you again. Goodbye for now.